Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Tuesday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. Today, yes, I'm rested and ready. And the best part about my day yesterday was the fact that I didn't watch the Dodgers play last night. So I didn't have to sweat out that awful loss to give me my 10th loss of the season. So I'm in bounce-back mode today. Disappointing night overall for me. I lost money on the ticket on the baseball card. Can't lie to you guys out here, but it's a new day. It's new money. I'm ready to get after it and have some fun. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team, and we are here to hit the entire card. Jason, I'm rested. I'm ready for winners. How about you?
Yeah, I stayed up until 1:30 in the morning watching those Twins play. They had 3 runs through 4 innings, 17 outs to play with. Just needed one more run. Couldn't get the job done, of course, against the Mariners. And so I'm wearing a Portugal jersey for everyone that took Portugal this morning. I'm a team player, and if you guys took my play and also the Portugal play, you got your money back. So happy with that, and just happy that everyone was able to catch that Portugal ticket. It was a sweat towards the end, but a lot of people got that Portugal win. I saw on Twitter, so really happy for everyone else that got that pick.
I think we need to take over the soccer show here because I think, Kyle, I have it down right. Just bet every favorite and just roll and retire early. Is that the way to go, Kyle?
That's it. Just bet the favorites and don't make any poor jokes about it on Twitter. My God, do not do that or you will get toasted. But it was a good night. The value menu let me down, the Padres and the Royals, so I had to actually pay out of my own pocket for Del Taco, which was a bummer. Yeah. But the play of the day hit. That was good. The Dodgers minus 0.5. And even our prop, Ben Simmons, over 28.5. He breezed by that as well. So overall, and the Reds, of course. The Reds. So overall, good day. And looking for more of it today. I'm ready to talk some baseball.
Absolutely. And as you guys know, we don't have any baseball games here during the day, so we can dip right into the night card. But also keep in mind, thank you guys for the support, the love on the channels, everything when we go live here, whether it be, NBA, whether it be soccer, Major League Baseball. You guys continue to support us, and we do thank you for that. 86,500 subscribers. If you're new to the channel, if somebody says, hey, check out these knuckleheads talking Major League Baseball. Come in here, hit that subscribe button, turn your notification bell on so we go live and talk Major League Baseball. Come in here and say hello. Give your picks. Go back and forth. Of course, we're always going to bust some chops here on the show as well as the chat box. That's exactly what it's for. But also keep in mind, people already are winning money on the SBR contest here. Get in $20,000 in Bitcoin up for grab throughout the summer. The contest closes in October. Check the details on the website. But if you say, hey, look, well, what website are you talking about? Make it easy for you. See the top of the chat button right there? That yellow marker, SBR Sports Picks, click on that. It'll bring you right to the forum and tell you the details to get in and win. It's free. Doesn't cost you any money here. And what's next? You can win some money, and at the end of the week, get your own Chipotle out here, McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever you're looking to buy here. Take the lady out and have some fun. But that contest is here for you guys. Thank you for supporting us. Let's get after the card today because we got some interesting games here, some good weather situations. 7:07, we're going to start tonight, 9:15, 9:16 in tiny Buffalo with the wind blowing out. That's the New York Yankees versus the Toronto Blue Jays today. Montgomery's a lefty on the mound versus Ryu, a lefty. And if you look down the rest of the card, there are a lot of left-handed pitchers today. Looking at the numbers here, a slight favorite, Jason, for Toronto, minus 121, the minus 124, 9.5 to 9, depending on who you're shopping with the total. Keep in mind, this is a small ballpark. The wind is blowing out at double digits. But here's the issue I have. Old school Yankees, and I'm talking like last year and beyond Yankees. I look at this and be like, I don't care who's pitching. The Yankees are going to put the ball in the air, and that ball is going to leave the yard. Profiling against left-handed pitchers, not the Yankees' best here. So maybe to carry the total, you're looking towards the Blue Jays. And also keep in mind, the new leader in the clubhouse for MVP, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Maybe he goes yard tonight. Jason, some thoughts here on the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's been on another planet right now, hitting bomb after bomb. It's been really fun to watch. And that could obviously happen again today. Really, the entire lineup for the Blue Jays, they dominate lefties. They have an ISO of 237, a weighted OBA of 378 against lefties with that projected lineup. And that's thanks to Guerrero, who's been on fire recently. Ryu, though, has not been on fire for the Blue Jays. His last 2 starts really haven't been that great. He is allowing some high power to righties right now. 9 runs in those 2 starts. Still was able to pitch into the 6th inning. So I still think he'll have a solid outing against the Yankees. And we talk about the Yankees lineup. They're not doing nearly as well against lefties either. the only team that's not the Blue Jays are, but they do have 28% of strikeouts against lefties in the last 30 days. Weighted OBA just 308. So I lean towards the Blue Jays at minus 115. But the Yankees, you never know. They could get some power from the right side as well. And that could make this game a high-scoring affair. So maybe look at the over as well, or the Blue Jays on the team total instead of just taking the Blue Jays. The Yankees, they've been awful, but they can still hit against lefties with some power from the right side. Maybe not this year, but in years past they have been able to. So just watch out because eventually the Yankees offense will figure it out.
No, and I think they will, but it's interesting tonight, Kyle, as we take a look at the starting pitchers. And you know me, I like to look at XFIP minus numbers along with XFIP as well. You're taking a look today on the season. Ryu, the sixth best pitcher today, coming into it 88 as an XFIP minus, which again, 100 is the average, so he is excelling in that area. But also Jordan Montgomery quietly at an 89. Now take a look at their ERAs, both of them, 3.34 and 3.99, but also low XFIP numbers. For Jordan Montgomery, 3.68, for Ryu, 3.62. It's just not that Yankees lineup. I want to try to take the Yankees because on paper it still looks like a good lineup. They just haven't been able to hit yet. But are you really going to take an under in Buffalo with the wind blowing out? A pop fly ball, that thing's flying out of here tonight, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. And I like both lineups. And let me just welcome in my wonderful neighbor, Marilyn. I got to have the greatest baseball conversation about Boog Powell for some of you old timers. If you know who Boog Powell is. Great hitter, and I'm surprised to find out he had
Barbecue, Orioles.
Boog's Barbecue, absolutely. So I'm really excited to join us in. So back to this game. I'm leaning Toronto here. Look, I know Ryu struggled his last couple of starts, but I think he's exponentially better than Montgomery. You sort of look at what these pitchers have done against these lineups recently. If you look at Ryu's last 3 starts against the Yankees, 43, 25, and 51 fantasy points. You go over here to Montgomery, it's a little dicier, 7, 31, and 8. So he's been blown up by this Toronto lineup, and it profiles really, really well. When you just look up, we have advantages here of 35, 70, 72, 47, 48, 51, and 49%. I like Toronto here full game, minus 122. I almost took a stab at that team total over 4.5, minus 110. Home run prop of the day, for those who are asking about that, let's go back to Vladimir Guerrero. The dude is red hot. And 6 career at-bats against Montgomery, 3 hits, 1 of those went for a home run. You're getting him at plus 250. Dude's absolutely on fire, wind blowing out, small stadium, left-hander. I like the Blue Jays full game. I like their lineup in DFS. I don't mind a couple of the righties if you want to one-off a Judge or a Stanton, even though I prefer Stanton against righties, honestly. But if you want to throw a Judge or a Torres in for the Yankees as well, there should be runs in this game. But I really like that Toronto lineup. I'm going to lean them the full game, minus 122.
All right, as one of the annual rituals we are going to do each and every day here, I'm looking at the lineup anticipated here for Toronto. Simeon, Bichette, Guerrero, Teoscar Hernandez, Grichuk, Gurriel, Biggio, Adams, and Davis. Hold on, guys. Voicemail. Unavailable again, George Springer, Kyle? I mean,
he's out running.
Every day
he's out running.
He doesn't answer my calls. Unavailable all the time, man.
Yeah, always unavailable. George Springer. That lineup will be fun when he eventually decides to play. But don't worry, he's out running the track right now, so I'm sure he'll be back very soon.
What's he going, first to third jogging? Somebody took a picture of him. He's almost ready to get back out there. So we'll see if he ever plays. But that is a nice lineup. And it's a shame if you're George Springer also, because you play in these tiny ballparks. Like, you want to get out there and rake with the rest of your squad here, but still not able to come back. Maybe he's got the worst hamstring injury, whatever he's got, that we've ever seen in baseball. Let's move it down here. 7-10. We're going to go to Cleveland. And the reason why usually we pick marquee games, like big-time games to go over, but I feel like we're winding down on this one. Like, we're not going to have that many more chances to go over a Matt Harvey start. He's going to take on Quantrill, both righties on the mound. 184 here at New Jersey. If we take a look at Cleveland as a favorite, 168 offshore at Pinnacle, 9s across the board. Jason, I'm going to start with you first in this instance, because when you go over the lineups, it's Cleveland lumps in with Detroit for me, where, boy, it's got to be a real acquired taste for me to jump in and get after it, because even though they match up with Harvey, they'll stack a lot of lefties. It doesn't mean like still they're going to hit the baseball. But then again, it's Matt Harvey. Last time he's on the mound, I didn't bet against him. And Kyle's like, hey, I'm just going to take Matt Harvey. I said, I can't argue with you if you're just going to tell me, Donnie, I'm just fading Matt Harvey. I'm like, hey, more power to you, man. What are you thinking about this game tonight between the Orioles and the Cleveland Indians here?
So the last time I took an Orioles-Indians game, I took under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. It was Jorge Lopez, of course, against Quantrill. And the Orioles, they ended up with 18 runs in that game. So, Cal, he had really bad body language when things were going his way. He kind of just lost, and he just looked really bad. That could happen again, who knows? And then Harvey, of course, he's been a can since he went up against my Mets in his first start against them this year. And ever since, it's been really bad for him. So I think the over 9 is the best look for this game. Of course, I would go against Harvey with the Indians minus 0.5 in the first 5, but also know that Quantrill was terrible against Baltimore in his first start against them, and only pitched now I think 1 inning since that start. So I'd be careful with this game. Could be a trap either direction. Both offenses obviously have not been really good. If you look at the Indians lineup in the last 30 days, 119 ISO, weighted OBA of 316, just walking 7.5% of the time. So it has been good, but again, you're going up against Harvey. They should be able to get the job done, but there's just no consistency with the Indians right now.
Yeah, he's going to get 6 lefties in the lineup anticipated here for Cleveland because you have a majority of switch hitters. But it's amazing that you just take a look at a number for Matt Harvey. He's a right-handed pitcher. 142 at-bats here, Kyle, that he's faced from the right-hand side. A 409 weighted on-base average against him. You can see sometimes it's only 17 at-bats and, a couple guys got him. But it seems like everybody gets him here. And if you guys were hearing the the blower outside by Jason's window. It actually wasn't that. He was shaving his legs. Can't see his arms over there. So, exactly. I mean, the guy's multitasking over here while we're live on the air. Talk about this game, Kyle, because are we going right back to, hey, it's Matt Harvey. I don't give a damn who they're playing. I'm fading them.
Well, I want to. I have it written down here on my value menu. I want to go Indians. And then the more and more I look at Cal Quantrill, I'm like, oh, my God, he might be worse than Matt Harvey. I don't know what to do here because both these pitchers are absolutely atrocious. But yes, we're fading. So you're gonna got 2 can pitchers. You got a terrible Baltimore lineup, and you've got a terrible Cleveland lineup. I like Cleveland's just a little bit better, and it's Matt Harvey, so I'm gonna lean the Indians minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 115. I'm not sure I'm gonna make that anything official anymore. I wouldn't blame you for staying away from this game. The over, I agree, would be the safer play. There should be runs in this game. Both lineups should hit, but again, we're talking about 2 very mediocre lineups. So this game gives you all the feelings of a trap, all of the makings of a trap for sure. But if I'm going to bet it, of course you fade Matt Harvey and you go with Cleveland.
Here's the issue that you're going to have, because I like to put on my weather hat at times. 69, 70 degrees at first pitch, which is fine. But check this out. Blowing in from center field at close to 20 miles an hour. So something to keep an eye on this one, because when you're taking a look at baseball teams, such as the Baltimore Orioles and Cleveland, the way they line up against right-handers, there's 18 eligible batters in the game, obviously 9 each side. If we take a look at Baltimore, 233 ISO for Mullins, 211 for Stewart. Everybody else is terrible. Then you flip it over and take a look at Cleveland. Ramirez has a 346 ISO, which is awesome. Bradley, 313, which is great. Everybody else below average. So if you're leaning to me that you're going to get a lot of singles, you're going to put together 3 hits in an inning to score a run, that doesn't happen all that much around Major League Baseball. Now, before we get to the next game with the Phillies and Dodgers, you're seeing some interesting things come out of Major League Baseball now that we have official word on what we're looking for substance-wise. I love the fact that Major League Baseball is finally cracking down. Do I think the 10-game suspension, which equates to 1 start for a pitcher and you get paid, I think it's kind of ridiculous. But much like you see in the UFC, before you get into the ring, they are checking your equipment, they're checking your face, they're making sure everything is even before you step into the ring, so it is no advantage. And it looks like Major League Baseball is going to be placing officials in each dugout that when a starting pitcher goes out to the mound, he is getting checked. That can only lead to increased scoring because the spin rates will be down. So we'll see how that goes forward now that something's in effect. I just want a quick take from you, Jason, on what you think out of this new rule for Major League Baseball and as it pertains to gambling.
Yeah, look, obviously I think this helps the over. You'll get a lot of less sticky stuff on pitchers' hands, which means probably get more walks and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. I think it's kind of annoying that they change things in the middle of the season because you get used to different stats and then you adjust, and now they're going to change things again, and then we're going to have to adjust again with how the pitchers perform in the next couple of weeks and months. So we're going to have to take it day by day, week by week, and look at the stats, look at the analytics, and try to figure out really what the differences are without the sticky stuff. So it's going to be interesting. It'll probably be fun for over bettors, but for now, I guess we just kind of wait and see what happens with the numbers.
And it's interesting because Kyle, bring into this conversation on this, because the one thing I think we can be rest assured, it's not going to help pitchers that they can't use foreign substances. So therefore, that nasty 12-6 breaking ball now turns into a 12-9 and it's leaving the yard. What are your thoughts on this, Kyle?
Yeah, and I think strikeout props, you're going to start to see those go down. You probably will see more hit batters, more walks. For me, Jason touched on, okay, you're going to start changing rules in the middle of the year. How about you go, you know what? Everyone is sick and tired of watching pitchers try to hit a baseball and try to bunt a baseball. Just bring back the universal DH right now. If you're going to change this, just be like, look, we made a mistake. 9 hitters every game. No more bullshit. Let's rock and roll. But of course, baseball can't do that to you. Oh, we're going to inspect you, like you're getting on an airplane before every inning. Like, give me a break. I've already said it. If I'm a hitter, I want those guys having sticky stuff because I don't want them throwing 100 miles an hour without being able to control it near my face. That's just not for me. I feel a whole lot better if I know they had more control, but we'll see. Hopefully it does produce more runs. It should produce more runs and probably less strikeouts, which is it's a good thing for baseball.
Yep, if I'm commissioner of baseball, 2 things would happen here along with this sticky substance stuff. First, I would announce any major league manager that bats a pitcher 8th, he will be banned and thrown under the jail worse than Pete Rose and never be allowed back into the game. And number 2, get the pitchers out of the game. It's going to happen next year. The fact that Major League Baseball, I continue to say, they're using this as a imagine this, guys, a bargaining chip. The Major League Baseball Players Union says, we're going to make pitchers bat because we're going to use that as a bargaining chip to get something we want next year. The most asinine thing I can ever, but that's Major League Baseball, who doctors baseball, who puts rules in the middle of the season, who has an unbelievable season last year and says, let's take the juice out of the baseball, and then goes like this. Oh my God, what's going on? We didn't anticipate any of this, what's happening. Amazing that we're still talking about it today, but that is baseball. Let's head out to the West Coast tonight. It's 9:13, 9:14, the scene of the crime for me. 3 runs scored by the Dodgers at the bottom of the 5th inning with nobody out. That nasty Phillies bullpen, gentlemen, yeah, they did the job shutting down the Dodgers, but the Dodgers did win. If you took the Dodgers run line, you cashed in. If you took the Dodgers first 5 innings, you cashed in as well. Looked like the Phillies might actually have a decent night in the first inning. Weren't able to get the Gonsolin. So 1 run in the first inning, 1 run by the 9th inning. Congratulations to my Phillies. Going up against Urias today, minus 170s primarily across the board. 8.5 now as a total, down from 9. Jason, I'll start with you first tonight. It's really hard to go up against the Dodgers because theoretically, good starting pitching, ridiculous lineup, good bullpen. That's going to win a lot of the nights here. Phillies are going to be up against it. Last night was a game they could have stolen, but just weren't able to hit. What do you think of tonight between the Philadelphia Phillies here and the Los Angeles Dodgers?
By the numbers, the Phillies and the Dodgers kind of have the same lineups. If you're looking at, for the Phillies side against the lefty, 141 ISO, 326 weighted OBA. Then you go to the Dodgers, they're going up against a righty, but their projected lineup, that's without Bellinger, and of course Muncy on the IL, 157 ISO, 322 weighted OBA. So you're kind of getting 2 kind of subpar offenses in the last 30 days against these 2 pitchers. And Eflin in the last 30 days, 3.74 xFIP, 25% strikeouts, 5.2% walks. Then you got Urias, 3.76 xFIP, striking out 28.7% of batters and walking just 3.5% of batters. So I think the under 5 in the first 5 is the play. But like Donnie said, when you go towards the full game, you start playing around with that Phillies bullpen. And if they did well yesterday, you can't expect them to do well twice in a row. So I do like the Dodgers in the full game, however way you want to look at that. But in the first 5 innings, I would look at the under 5 in the first 5. I'd pay up for that juice instead of that 4.5. Now you need 6 to beat me in the first 5 innings. I think that's going to be really hard with these 2 offenses that really haven't been that great against the righty-lefty matchups that they have. So I would look at the under 5 in the first 5, but just pay up for that juice at like minus 145 range.
They didn't take advantage of it last night, Kyle, but as you see, again, weather-wise, 89, it looks like 96 degrees at first pitch out there in L.A. tonight, 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. So it's one of those that you take a look at, but I think Jason hits the nail on the head. Taking a look at the pitchers today, on my numbers that I like to use, Zach Eflin, the number 2 pitcher on the card, and how about Urias, number 4 on the card today? Wow. Look at the xFIP minus numbers. Eflin, 79. Urias, 83. And look, again, season-long here numbers. xFIP, 3.21, and then Urias, 3.37. you're looking at two lineups here that there are some really good names, but wind blowing out, hot conditions, pitchers are actually hot as well. What are we looking at, Kyle, in this game from your perspective between the Phillies and the Dodgers here?
I like the Dodgers quite a bit. Again, in the first 5 innings, minus 0.5 at minus 115. Look, both these pitchers have struggled recently in starts against these opposing lineups. And Urias, his last 2 starts against Philly, 9 and 17 fantasy points. That's not good. That means he got smashed. When you come over here to Eflin, his last 4, here are the numbers: 12, 2, 0, and 12. It has not been pretty, and I expect the Dodgers, even if Bellinger's unable to go again, which was kind of a bummer last night, the lineup just profiles really, really nicely, as does the Phillies. Honestly, the Phillies lineup does not look all that bad. But for me, it's Dodgers or bust here. You're looking at advantages of 70, 12, 44, 5, 40, 44. Especially if for some reason Bellinger is able to get in there, I would like the lineup even more. But for me, I think Urias better than Eflin. Dodgers against righties, I'm always going to attack that. If I have a mediocre or worse righty on the mound, I'm taking the Dodgers. I'll take a minus 0.5 in the first 5, minus 115. It's my official play of the day.
There you go. Home runs here. Now, not home runs leaving the ballpark. Home runs meaning the Dodgers. 4.5 minus 118 here sitting at FanDuel. And then for the Philadelphia Phillies, away runs 3.5. One of those. Look, there's good hitting weather. There's no question in my mind. But last night, sometimes you get a little bit of spooked in games that you thought there would be some runs here on both sides. You end up with a 3-1 ball game. And look, the Dodgers had, 3 hits for the entire game. The Phillies bullpen had to come in and go for the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th innings and held it down. So very good job by the bullpen. But you're right. If you're expecting another dominant Phillies performance out of the bullpen, we'll see what we get, because they threw some average pitchers at the Dodgers all throughout that game. And the Dodgers really couldn't take that much advantage of it. So we'll see if that does change tonight. Let's flip it down. Value menu wagers on the card tonight. I don't have a best bet and banker today. Well, I took my 10th loss of the season yesterday, sitting at 22-10. It happens. Boy, it would have been nice to win that. Wake up in the morning like, yeah, got another one. We can really get after it. But there's no reason pressing down today. But 2 situations I like. I actually have one here that is a plus money number and also a pretty juicy number. Number 1, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves team total at BetMGM, sitting at 3.5. Now, it's minus 155. I think they get 4 runs tonight. Eduardo Rodriguez leaking a little bit of oil, but still profiles as a decent pitcher, even on the road. The thing I also like, which we just talked about, the Dodgers game, good hitting weather in Atlanta, 84 degrees with the wind blowing out at dead center at about 10 miles an hour. 2 good-looking lineups that are going to take the field tonight. We should get runs, and you should get a running mate. So that first play I have, the Atlanta Braves team total over. The second one I'm going to go with, the Texas Rangers on a value play. 3.5 as a team total for them, sitting at a plus 105. So if we take some of these down, maybe go to Wendy's and McDonald's with 2 of these wagers today, that's where I'm looking with the value. Jason, what do you got on your card tonight? What are you looking at?
So first, under 4.5 in the first 5 at a minus 115 on the Rays and White Sox game. You look at Keuchel, lefty, 3.75 xFIP in his last 30 days. He's only walking 5% of batters, and he's obviously one of the better ground ball pitchers in baseball, probably the best. He's getting 58% of ground balls. You look at the Rays, they're grounding out 47% of the time with their projected lineup, and they don't do nearly as well against lefties. In the first place, 134 ISO, weighted OBA of 304, striking out 24% of the time. Keuchel coming off an 8 strikeout game in his last start, so maybe he continues that momentum and gets some more strikeouts in this game, but either way, should get a lot of ground balls and get some quick outs there. And then you got McClanahan, a lefty, going up against the White Sox. And I know everyone's going to overblow it all. Yeah, the White Sox against the lefty, but McClanahan, 3.56 xFIP and striking out 28.6% of batters. The walks are what's really kind of hurting him, 10% there in the last 30 days. But you look at this White Sox lineup, 25.2% strikeouts in that projected lineup. So I do think McClanahan's going to get a lot of strikeouts. I don't think he was using the sticky stuff when he came into the league, so I think we're okay there. But also 170 ISO, 0.304 on the weighted OBA, and just walking 9.2% of the time are the White Sox. So I do think both these pitchers profile well and should get under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. And then my other bet, I don't have a bet on it just yet. I don't see any number. But with the Marlins and Cardinals game, looking at Kwang Hyun Kim and his strikeouts, if you look at the Marlins, for example, in their last 30 days against lefties, trying to pull this up really fast, in their last 30 days against lefties, 32.5% strikeouts. 32.5%. Now, Kim, he's not going to be a big strikeout pitcher in the first place, but he should be able to get enough against this Marlins lineup. Chisholm, 34.5% strikeouts. Marte, 38.9%. Aguilar, 36.4%. Duval, 50% in 18 at-bats. 28.6% for Alfaro. Diaz, 35.7% strikeouts. Birdie, 26.9% strikeouts. Ridiculous. I don't see any number. And that's probably why. But if you guys do see a Kim strikeout number, let me know. I definitely think that should hit as well.
Kyle, where's that value at tonight for you?
I got a couple of them. I've been going back and forth. But let's start here. Let's go with Jason's Mets today off of Alec Mills, who is just I think you're getting a real value on this right here. You're getting Taijuan Walker, who's been very, very solid against Alec Mills, who, let's just say, has not. The Mets lineup profiles beautifully. Advantages of 29, 34, 65, 44, 22, and 2%. You're getting a minus 0.5 at minus 105 in the first 5 innings. I think that line is too short with Walker versus Mills, so I'll take the Mets there on the value line. I'm also going to take a little stab at that Blue Jays full game minus 122. I think they get it done tonight. I think that lineup hits Montgomery. I'm going to give myself the full game to get it done. Both teams have really, really good bullpens. I think the Yankees are a little more adept to blowing up when they do. So I'll take that Blue Jays full game at minus 122. And our home run prop today, of course, Vladimir Guerrero plus 250. I like him to homer in that game in that small stadium with the wind blowing out. And for you guys who like the NBA ones on here too, Bruce Brown over 2.5 assists tonight. Plus 102. I think he is going to have the ball in his hands without Kyrie. James Harden's going to try to play. Bruce Brown's going to be on the court a lot. He's going to be doing some ball handling. I think he gets 3 assists.
All right. So as we flip it over to best bets on the Major League Baseball card, I got to say there's a lot of chatter, and Kyle brought it up as well. The Mets were very close to me for being a play of the day wager because Mills isn't a great pitcher. Here's the issue. Why? Mills usually gets a quick hook anyway. He might go 2 or 3 innings, and then you're getting that mix match and, just guys coming out of the bullpen. So I couldn't get a clear target, but I can't fault anybody for looking at the Mets today because they should do some damage. When you're looking at Mills, the righty, is very susceptible to left-handed batters. VR, Lindor, Smith, McKinney, Guillorme. You might get a decent lineup in there. I do think the Mets comes over, but I was just short of actually taking that. So I just stuck with the 2 value menu wagers on Atlanta and Texas. So going to you, Jason, where is your best bet and or bankers on the card today?
Yes, I'm going over to the Reds and Brewers game. I'm on the Reds over 3.5 on the team total. They're going up against Bray Anderson of the Brewers, and the Reds projected lineup, they've crushed lefties in the last 30 days. They've crushed lefties throughout the entire season. 278 ISO, 395 weighted OBA, striking out just 15.7% of the time, so you know that the ball is going to be in play. And, of course, Anderson's allowing a lot of hard contact. Now, he is a ground ball pitcher, so there will be some hard contact that will likely be on the ground. But the reality is that the Reds should be able to score 4 runs. They're going to be on the road 9 innings to get that job done. Milwaukee's bullpen a little bit better, so you're hoping the Reds are able to score at least 3 runs in the first 5 innings against Anderson. But I think that's very doable there. On the other hand, you have Castillo, who's going to be going for the Reds, and he's also hasn't pitched well, but he's pitched better as of late. And I think kind of luck is going more towards his side. And that's what is taking me away from taking the full game over for both teams. I'd rather go with the Reds, the road team, to have the better numbers in the first place. The Brewers, they are grounding out 47% of the time. Castillo, again, another big-time ground ball pitcher. So if the Brewers get guys on base from walking, they might hit into double plays, and that can get Castillo out of the game. So I'm going to stick with the Reds over 3.5 on the team total at minus 155. Of course, I do think that we'll see 5 runs in this game. And if you see 4.5 at plus money, I would definitely, agree with that if that's what the direction you want to go with. Also got one more play going. We're going to the Braves and Red Sox game. Eduardo Rodriguez against Tucker Davidson. I know Donnie talked about it just a little bit earlier. I'm on the Braves minus 105 in the first 5 innings. Tucker Davidson, he's been pretty good. The walks have been the only question mark for him, but he hasn't really been allowing many hits. His whip is down. Everything kind of looks good with Tucker Davidson, and the Red Sox offense has been really, really bad against lefties. If I could pull this up real quickly, the Red Sox lineup in the last 30 days, the projected lineup, 116 ISO, weighted OBA of 268, striking out nearly 28% of the time and walking just 6.2% of the time. So really the Red Sox offense not really great against lefties, and that's without Verdugo. Verdugo is a lefty also struggling against lefties. If he's in the lineup, doesn't really do much damage against lefties in the first place. Then you go to that Braves lineup like we were talking about earlier. The Braves lineup, they've destroyed lefties, 291 ISO, a weighted OBA of 422 in the last 30 days. They do strike out a little bit more and walk just 8.1% of the time. But Rodriguez is a guy that's allowing a ton of hard contact, a lot of base hits, a lot of doubles, a lot of home runs. The balls are finding grass when they're hit against Rodriguez, and not the same could be said for Davidson. So when we're in a ballpark that's going to be hot, we're going to see balls fly. I do like the Braves to see more balls fly in this game in the first 5 innings. So again, Braves minus 105 on the first 5 innings will be another official play for me.
All right, Kyle, best bet and bankers. Where are you going tonight?
We're going right to that Dodgers minus 0.5 in the first 5, minus 115. I think the bats get going against Eflin. I think Urias can shut down that lineup. So give me the Dodgers. That's my one official play. Dodgers minus 0.5, minus 115. I can't get away from the Dodgers against a mediocre righty. I'm gonna ride that bus.
I don't know, man. I got him number 2 on the car. I got him Clayton Kershaw like tonight. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here with those fighting Phils. And riding out. So the good thing, the best part about it, Kyle, I won't see a single pitch of that game. So no big deal to me, watching or betting wise. So enjoy it out there on the West Coast. But I'm sure Jason will be tweeting at 1:30 in the morning again. Very upset at some situations here late at night. Or it could be jubilation. Let's get to the odds lightning round and shift through some of the remaining movements of these games. 901, 902. Anderson, the lefty, versus Corbin, the lefty. Pittsburgh versus Washington. Heavy favorite here for the home squad here. Nationals, minus 168 at FanDuel, minus 164 offshore at Pinnacle. 8.5s across the board tonight. Lefty on lefty. Sometimes it's really hard just to back the Pirates. But me and Kyle always talk about there's going to be a time when the fighting Colin Morans are ready to rock, and we'll be ready for him. I just don't know if it's tonight here. What do you think of between Pittsburgh and Washington, Jason?
Yeah, we talked backstage before the show, and we kind of like the Pirates on the over team total.
Let's go,
today,
Pirates.
0.5. But you'd be crazy to make it official or anything like that because they are the Pirates and they are also without Colin Moran. But yeah, Frazier, Hayes, Reynolds, Stallings, they all have some power. Even Tom has some power against lefty and Corbin. And Corbin has not been doing well against righties for the most part. 389 weighted OBA in the last 30 days and 96 plate appearances. So yeah, I do like the Pirates over 3.5 on the team total. The Nationals, of course, can hit Anderson as well. But, again, Anderson, he's been way worse against righties than lefties. And you'll have maybe Turner, Zimmerman, and maybe Gomes in the lineup for the Nationals. So they don't really profile nearly as well as the Pirates do. So I kind of like the Pirates for this game, but I can't make Pirates official or even recommend taking the Pirates for the most part in any game.
All right, we're going to skip down a couple games here. We talked about the Mets and the Chicago Cubs already, as well as Boston and Atlanta. So, Kyle, you're up here on deck in Milwaukee tonight. The roof should be open, 70 degrees. Castillo, who struggled, a pedigree pitching name, but sometimes not living up to that pedigree. But Anderson, the lefty on the mound for Milwaukee, has not been that great this year, which is why you're getting roughly a pick'em across the board, 9s all the way through. If you're looking at Anderson this year, 5.19 xFIP, he's only striking out about 10% of the batters he's facing. Lefties at a 360 weighted on base average against him. Righties at a 373. And you do have some power in that lineup. Look at some ISO power numbers here. Castellanos 370. Stevenson 351. Votto 222. Aristides Aquino 500. Now, granted, it's only through 7 at-bats. But then Farmer also 207. Maybe some heat and humidity in there in the ballpark might be able to help out. But even if we're looking to fade Cincinnati, it's hard to back Anderson, though, isn't it?
Exactly. I was this close to the Reds being one of my value menu wagers today. I do like the Reds in the first 5 innings. I think you could even make the case for that team total. You talked about it. Yeah. Anderson, just abysmal, and there's plenty of right-handed power in this lineup. There's lefties who can hit lefties for power in this lineup. For me, it's Reds or bust. I just cannot back Anderson. And as bad as Luis Castillo is, and we've made fun of him plenty of times on here, he might actually be better than Anderson. And you look at that Brewers lineup, outside of Yelich, what really scares you in that Milwaukee lineup, it's not much. I mean, Yelich and I guess Garcia, who actually stinks against righties. He's much, much better against lefties. 5 for 15 lifetime off of Castillo with a home run. Lean the Reds here. I think you could take a sprinkle on that team total as well, but really like him in the first 5 innings.
All right, get into one of those games where it's really a shame because these are the ones that you usually would like. Two teams with some questionable bullpens, two teams with questionable starters, but two teams with absolutely drastically bad lineups. So from profiling to team total overs and overs, usually this is what you would like. Kansas City, it's going to be 92 degrees at first pitch with a very light wind blowing in. So you're figuring the ball is going to travel. But every time I go, Jason, once again, sing the same song, I look at the lineup. Let's just take Kansas City tonight versus righties. Weighted on base average, every single guy expected in the lineup is below the Major League Baseball average. So unless you're just saying, well, they're going to break out tonight, I can't bet that way. What are you looking at tonight between Detroit and Kansas City?
Yeah, I like the Tigers, plus 115 in the first 5. You could even look at, plus 0.5 if you want to go that route. But Mize has been really good. Minor has been really good too. Don't get me wrong. But, like you said, the Royals lineup, in the last 30 days, Merrifield, Santana, Perez, Soler, Dozier, Gutierrez, Olivares, Taylor, Lopez combined 107 ISO, weighted OBA 271, striking out nearly 23% of the time, and also hitting ground balls nearly 48% of the time. So they've just been really, really bad. But you go to that Detroit lineup, and they're going up against a lefty and Minor, and they've hit him before. But you have Grossman, Scope, Haas, Rogers, Castro. They've all been a little bit more consistent against lefties, and they've seen Minor before. I do think the Tigers are able to score some runs early in this game against Minor. So I do like the Tigers in the first 5 innings. You go look at the money line or go that plus 0.5. So in a result of a tie, you'd be able to win as well.
All right, keep moving forward here as we go. Take a look down in Texas, the Battle of Texas. Texas and Houston, 921, 922. That'll start at 8:10 tonight. A minus 180 favorite offshore to Houston. Here in New Jersey, 198, 8.5 across the board. I did take Texas here as a value menu wager, getting a little bit of plus money, 3.5 plus 105. And the reason being here, Kyle, take a look at Odorizzi. He's been okay this year, but take a look at the difference between lefties and righties. Righties off of Odorizzi, 273 weighted on base average, which is terrible. But how about lefties through 48 batters that he's faced? 400 with an ISO power number of 265. Good thing tonight for those Rangers. Calhoun, Gallo, Lowe, Holt, Martin, and Heim, all from the left-hand side. I think they could squeeze out some runs tonight and cash in that total, because also when you take a look at the Houston side of things, Gibson has been good, and he's been stellar weighted on base average with lefties and righties, but that's a pretty good-looking lineup here for Houston tonight. I think the Texas Rangers can scrape 4 together and take that plus 105. What are you looking at this game tonight?
Yeah, when I was looking for underdogs, who do I like as an underdog? Where's the plus money? Mm-hmm. This one's now. Is it Odorizzi or is it Lance McCullers starting? Because I'm seeing McCullers for I have McCullers. I have McCullers going as well for.
Oh,
Houston.
It is okay. So change that up. Yeah.
So it made it. So it's McCullers. Yeah. So it's a little bit obviously. It would be a lot better if it was Odorizzi. But the Texas lineup still profiles pretty well. Advantage of 25, 19, 15, 10, at 38. I thought Texas was a live dog in this one. Gibson's actually been pretty good against this Houston lineup. He doesn't profile all that bad. If you look at his, if I could find it here, if I could go in alphabetical order, if you look at his last 5 starts against Houston, just in terms of fantasy points here, 34, 64, 34, 28, 31. So if I'm going to take Texas, I'll probably do it the first 5 innings. We know how bad that bullpen can be for Texas, one of the worst in the league. But Texas is a live dog in this one. McCullers certainly could eke it out here, but if I'm looking for a plus money spot, I have nothing official on this. I would take a little sprinkle on the Rangers and see if you can get some of that plus money. I think Gibson can shut him down today.
Yeah, coming back from the IL, so you're correct here. So he is going to be activated and start in this game, which does change things up quite a bit here, because you take a look at lefties that you're trying to square up. McCullers does a little bit better. But I'm also seeing here, though, on a couple outlets that you might have like Odorizzi open for Lance McCullers. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes down the chart. So one to keep an eye on here, that you get this misinformation before the games, you end up making wagers like, hey, who the hell's pitching in this game? So maybe we'll wait on that. But hey, horse is already in front of the card or whatever, however the hell you say that. So I'm still in on Texas regardless at this point now, because I don't have a lot of money on it. So we'll let it ride and see what happens in that instance. Let's keep moving down here. Miami and St. Louis quickly on this game. I know we already had some thoughts between Rogers and Kim, both lefties on the mound. Jason, what are you thinking here again?
Yeah, like I said, the Marlins, they strike out a ton against lefties. So I really like that Kim strikeout prop, but I don't see it anywhere. And there's probably good reason for that. So I do think that this game could probably go under. With Rogers on the mound, he's been really consistent. 3 earned runs or less in every start in May and June. So I think the under would be the play here. Obviously, we didn't see too many runs last night, and on top of that, 2 base runners forgot to touch home plate. So you could also win with taking unders like that. So look towards the under here and think that both pitchers have a good first 5.
Now, here's an interesting one, because yesterday we're talking about weather. Good one in L.A., a really good one in Colorado. So I checked the weather today in Colorado. 100 degrees at first pitch tonight. 100 degrees at elevation in first pitch with the wind blowing out lightly to 6 miles an hour. Chichi Rodriguez is on the mound tonight. High xFIP, which means the ball is getting in the air. K number 13%. One would think that San Diego would wake up, but you also thought that San Diego would hit last night. So, Kyle, quickly on this game tonight, going back to it, because you might be looking at a football number here for the Jets had lower team totals than the Padres coming into this game, Kyle. What do you think?
This game's impossible. You stay away from this game because there's absolutely no value unless you want to take Padres on the run line, and even that is juiced up. I mean, it's minus 0.5 in the first 5. It's minus 165. Their team total 7, for Christ's sake. Who in the hell wants to bet a team? Never. That will never happen. That will never, ever happen. I might have to take
it just for that. Yeah.
I cannot. I just can't do it. Now, they do profile nicely. Tatis, 34%. Machado, 13. Hosmer, 6. Cronenworth, 32. And Grisham, 9. They should be able to get it done. The ball should fly, and I don't mind a little sprinkle on the Fernando Tatis prop. He's 3 for 7 lifetime with the home run off of Gonzalez. But there's just no value here. It's Padres, of course, if you want to add them as a money line parlay piece. Sure, Darvish should absolutely outdeal Chichi Gonzalez tonight. You've got to love the pitching advantage here, but it's very lopsided, not a lot of value, so maybe a parlay piece for me, or if you want to take the run line, but that's it for me.
I mean, it's crazy because you got the 11.5 number, which you figure the heavy lifting is coming from San Diego in this game. We'll see if that pertains. They're going to get 9 at-bats no matter what. They looked terrible last night at the plate. Maybe they bounce back. Good-looking lineup in against a bad pitcher. We'll see how it plays. Angels, Oakland, 13 runs last night combined. Jason Heaney, the lefty on the mound, versus Montes today. 8.5s across the board. Slight favorite here to Oakland at minus 126. Quick thoughts on this one.
Yeah, Montes has been really good. 3.89 xFIP. In the last 30 days and striking out nearly 28% of batters, walking just under 6%. So he's been really good, and I think Heaney is starting to kind of figure it out just a little bit. His last 2 starts, 1 earned run in each of them in 6 innings pitched, and each of them as well. So I do think Heaney getting back on track. I think Montes has looked a lot better than he did recently. So I look towards the under 4.5 in the first 5, especially with this game being in Oakland.
All right. One game here on the West Coast, Arizona and San Francisco. Looks like we finally have the pitching matchup here, and it's a stellar one. Young versus Littell. Heavy favorite here towards San Diego. But here's the interesting part. Nobody in their right mind seems like they're betting, to win the game. The Arizona Diamondbacks would be bankrupt by now. But if you're taking a look at Littell, who's had 23 batters that he's faced from the left-hand side, they've got him pretty good. And now looking at Rojas, Marte, Escobar, Smith, and Peralta from the left-hand side, I don't want to say they're sneaky because you can never be sneaky with a team that bad, but you're not looking at a primo pitching matchup here, Kyle, coming from San Francisco Giants' perspective.
Yeah, when you look at now that the pitching matchup's just coming in, the Diamondbacks lineup looks really good. I don't have a number on their team total yet, but if it's at 3.5, I might take a sprinkle on that. The Giants are the better team. They should win this game, but I cannot bet a side on this. I think I will maybe take a light sprinkle depending on what that number comes out to. If it's 3.5, I think Arizona has a shot there. If it's anything more than that, I'll probably stay away.
3 minus 128.
There you go. Right now. Over 3, I love that. If they get 3, you push. I think you can take a sprinkle on that. If I'm betting this game, Diamondbacks team total. There it is.
Yep, normal weather out there, blowing at about 15 miles an hour, dead center field, 65 degrees. So normal is normal out there as we take a look. Getting to the last game here quickly, Jason, Minnesota and Seattle. Hap, the lefty on the mound, versus Flexen. Slight favorite here to Minnesota on the road, 134 here in New Jersey. Offshore at Pinnacle, 126. 8.5s here across the board. Let me just bring up some of these hitting matchups that we have. Flexen's been okay this year. xFIP 4.85. Doesn't strike out a lot of people, and that usually is where the damage comes down. Now, this is one game where you can say, oh, well, Minnesota stunk last night. Let's score 3 runs. Sometimes look at volume, and if you're going to get 10 hits, double-digit hits, eventually those are going to cash in. Decent-looking lineup for them tonight coming in. The one thing you can never trust for me is Hap, the lefty on the mound. But it looks like you're going to sprinkle in a couple lefties from the plate, which is where Hap excels. I don't really look towards a Mariners way, but maybe trying to find a way to take Minnesota. But tough last night, only 3 runs. Couldn't get the job done. Do you think they get it done tonight?
Probably, hopefully, maybe. They're really it's hard. Both these teams are really hard to figure out. The Twins offense always looks like a profile as well, and then when they're out on the field, it becomes a disaster. They can't score with runners in scoring position. They can't really do much right. They just kind of swing for the fence and hope for the best. And but when you look at the Mariners, their lineup, like you said, there's a lot of lefties in the lineup against Happ, and Happ has been a lot better against lefties. Really hasn't faced any lefties. He's faced 6 lefties in the last 30 days. So this will be really unique and really interesting to see how Happ does against those lefties. So for me, it's a stay away game, but I think I would rather lean towards the Twins in this game at around -120.
All right, let's get out of here. Clear the bases, wrap it up here. Another exciting Major League Baseball show. Close to 400 people watching here live during the show. We do thank you for all the love and support out here. So let's go over and recap what we have. 2 plays for me tonight. Don't have a best bet and banker, but tomorrow I know Jason is looking on the card already with Oviedo. He's going to be on the mound for St. Louis, so maybe lining that one up for Alcantara. That is early. So tomorrow, action-packed show. A lot of early baseball games, but a full Major League Baseball card. So we'll be having some fun, see if we can pick off some stuff. But I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves team total 3.5 -155 at BetMGM as a value menu wager and double down on that with the Texas Rangers 3.5 +105. Even though, we have an opener, how long is he going for? McCullers off the IL. How long is he going to go for? So interesting doings here, but I already took the wager, so I'm not going to take it back. I'm going to go with those 2 on the value menu wagers. No best bet and banker for me. Jason, talk to me about your value menu and also your best bets and your bankers today.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with the value menu. I'm on the under 4.5 in the first 5 for the Rays and White Sox game. But the official plays, the Reds over 3.5 on the team total at -155 via MGM. Of course, like I always say, I do like 5 or 4.5 at plus money. So if that's the direction you want to go, by all means, go for it if you think the analysis lines up with that bet. And of course, I'm also on the Braves, but in the first 5 innings at -105. Really think the Braves offense gets going against Eduardo Rodriguez. And should I just talk about this quickly? Eduardo Rodriguez in his last 6 starts, 4 runs, 5 runs, 4 runs, 6 runs, 3 runs, 6 runs in his last 6 starts. So I really think the Braves can get going offensively early against Rodriguez and expect Davidson to hold it down, as his whip and his average against have been really good in the first 3 starts of the season for him.
All right, interesting stuff here with the news coming out here. Tyler Glass now looks like he's going to be shut down with a partially torn UCL, which usually leads to Tommy John surgery. So big impact here for the Rays. Kyle, what do you got today? Best bet and bankers, and also talking about your value menu wagers for today.
Let's start with the value menu. I got the Mets -0.5 in the first 5 at -105. Walker over Mills. I just think that's too lopsided of a matchup there, so I'm all over that. I do also like the Blue Jays full game -122. I think they get it done tonight. I like that lineup. And speaking of that lineup, we'll put the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. home run prop at +250 on the value menu as well. Throw in a little Bruce Brown over 2.5 assists at +102. And our official play of the day for baseball, Dodgers -0.5 in the first 5, -115. I think that lineup gets going against Eflin tonight. So give me the Dodgers as my official bet and banker, however you want to say it.
There you go. And also, if you're watching, the show never ends here. So tonight, with an NBA game that's going to start a little bit later, I am dipping into some of these live numbers here in Major League Baseball. So follow us. We'll have a lot of fun. If you say, hey, great pick, terrible pick, what time is your show tomorrow, which, is always the same exact time as we always know. But follow us here at RightSide VP, at Jason_Radowitz, and at DFS Batcher. Always here to help out and lend a helping hand to try to win some money, because that's the name of the game, and that's what we do here. Thanks again for tuning into the show on a Tuesday for a Major League Baseball show. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. Thank you once again for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, afternoon baseball, right here at sportsbookreview.com. Good luck on those wagers.